All right, so today we're going to talk about grid themes. Grid themes are fun because now the inspectors are using their iPads and even some of the larger phones. We can do what's called a grid theme. So I'm showing you this grid theme right here. This is actually one of Esri's because it gives a lot of everything. So what a grid theme is think about a newspaper. So if you were buying an ad in a newspaper, you would buy them by the column and the width. So let's say for iPads, they're an number 8 width. And we can do columns. So every single piece of this, so what you're looking at here is like this banner way up at the top. I don't know if you can see that very well. Let's see if I can make that bigger. Okay, so let's assume that this whole width is 8 wide. So let's think about it as inches, 8 inches wide. This banner at the top is also 8 inches wide. This banner at the top is 8 inches wide. These are broken up into different widths. So this might be, I'm thinking 3, and then 2, and whatever's left over. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3, yeah, that makes a lot. Yeah, something like that. So that makes a lot of sense. And then you come down here and you see how they can get longer and you can have notes. That's what we're going to build today. We're going to build it out of our family template that I started with last week and go forward. So what we're going to do, the easiest way to do this is to just create a new survey. My mouth is getting dry today. Create a new survey and then build it out with the file that we used for the family address book, which is right here. So you can come in here and go to files. And then this is actually where we want to go. So I copy that, and then we're going to close that and do a new survey. File, I'm going to do a select. Up here, you can paste it and hit enter, and it's going to take you to that file. So here's that file we want. Put my title in. And hit create. And what this does is it brings over all that spreadsheet into this one. The only thing is, if it's an old spreadsheet and your version is below 318, you might want to build this as a blank one and copy and paste your information into this new one. There's a teeny tiny bug in this right here, which is your update templates, and they're already working on it. When I did it the other day, I had a 314 and I brought it up to 318. I used this and it has a weird thing where you know where all your headers are. It puts a banner above it that says column 1, column 2, column 3. So when you want to filter, you have to filter from there. It's not very pretty. So there are, these are just issues I come up with right away. So just know that there is a workaround, which is just copying that header over that top one that has all the columns on it. That'll fix it for now, but they are working on it. Okay, so today, this is what our file looks like. We're going to open up the spreadsheet. Looks exactly like the last one because it pulled it right over. There you go. That's a lot of fun. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we need to tell the computer that it's a fixed grid theme. So you come over here to settings and go up here to style and tell it fixed grid. That's going to tell it that there's something different about this one. We can save it. I'm going to just double check and see what I have over here, setting tabs. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make sections. So when you have a grid theme, you have to make sections. Otherwise, the computer doesn't see this. You can't, it doesn't know how to do that width of 8 without these groups. So what we're going to do is on the very top line, hit the number 2. That's going to highlight everything, and then insert a row. It does get ugly like that. It's just what it is. I can go in and say, don't fill it with any color. do your text as black. And what's funny is it's going to be bold. So I'm going to change that. And then it's going to look just like the top one. So it's going to be centered and we're just going to tell it to go left. That was a lot of work. It's just what it is. You could also cut and paste this one up here. That'll give you all your formatting. Just be careful because something might be in the far side. So what we're going to do here is just go down until you say begin group. And we're going to say end group. Insert end group, because that's going to stop. It's kind of like a little way for the computers to say, okay, I need to stop here and I need to go to this next place. So you're going to end group. So on this one, I'm just going to say family info. It's not sexy, but it'll work. Copy and paste, but we're going to take the space out. And then when you get over here to appearance, this is where the sexy comes in. That's where you're going to say W8. W8, or is it 8W? W8, width of 8. And so now when you say, I'm gonna have to change this real quick. We are looking at it on a phone, but we want to look at it, see how ugly that is. We actually want to come up here and click on this, and then you can tell it that you're going to do tablet landscape. Let me tell you why tablet landscape works best for our inspectors, because the camera's at the top when it's wide. If they have to flip it, it's just a pain, especially if they're doing 100 pictures for the day. So if you put it landscape, you have more real estate this way, which is good for you, but it also makes your inspectors happier because they don't have to flip their unit all day long. Let's see here. We're just going to make that bigger. Usually when I do landscape, I'll stick it on one monitor and then I'll have the spreadsheet right next to it, just so that I can see it. But for today, we're good with this. Let's see what else we're going to do. We are going to fix all of these. So the width of all of these is 1 right now. See how it's all 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right. So things that are long, we need to keep long. For right now, my family last names are really short, so I can keep it this way. But if I decided there was a long name in there, I might want to say W2 and save. All right, so W2 just means it's a width of 2. Then you have your head of household, and 2 might be good for that one too, because we don't want people to feel squished. Your family phone number, that one might be 2. Family phone copy. Oh, that was because we were working on that last week. We can actually probably remove that one. I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to hide it. Now, let me show you something. Actually, I'll show you in the next version because this will be fine. When you do hidden, it's going to leave this box for you because we are doing the fixed grids. If you don't want that box in there, I know Esri doesn't, it'll come up on your, when you do your analysis on your spreadsheet, it'll tell you not to do this, but in grid themes, I do it. So over here on text, I would say hidden. Let me give you a backup on that one. Publish it first and then do hidden, unless you want to go out and tell it it's a text. We haven't published it yet. So I'm going to put a little note that says that we'll do that on the other one so that you can see that. I always write a lot of notes in here until it goes live. Then I change those out. These are really Michelle's notes. So we're going to unhide, and then I want to say attribute. This is going to be type hidden after we publish the very first time, because what that does is the text will tell the computer and AGOL that it's text. If you hide it after the fact, you don't have to you don't have to do anything special. So address, city, so address we can make longer, probably a W3, but also we can make this one multi-line. So just so that I get the text correct, I'm going to say multi-line first. Then I'm coming over here to the beginning and say W3 and say enter. So it's pretty easy to get this going. There are some tricks along the way. So you see how address is really big here. We have that hidden field right here. I'm going to hide it right now, just so that you can see the difference. And hidden is a legacy field. That's why they tell you not to use it anymore, but it's still great for certain things. Family phone. Oh, I did the wrong one. Sorry about that. Hidden. Oh, save. All right. That's what happens when you use hidden in a grid theme. It will just remove it for you. Just remember, you need to publish it first so that the computer knows. So we'll leave it that way. It's not a big deal. We'll figure that part out later. I'm going to show you, keep going. So your states, your city, if you live in a place or your family lives in places with long cities, just make some more space for them. State, zip is probably okay. And then there is where's your home? And that one, since it's the very last one, it will take up whatever real estate is left over. So you don't have to put that one in. You'll notice that I didn't put W1s in here because W1 is default. All right, that looks pretty clean. There's no wonky things going on except this phone number. Let's see, family phone number. Let's fix that. That's going to make something happen. It's going to push down the addresses. Okay, so see what happened? It couldn't push all this information in. So now I can go into family and put it back to 1 until we have longer names in our family. That'll make it prettier. It's not really necessary, but I like things nice and neat. It's OCD probably. No, not really. Okay, so since we have addresses as a multi-line, let's pick that at 2 because they probably don't need that much space. Family phone number, why did I put 3? I don't know. I don't need 3. Save. Anyways, that's how you do it. That's how you're going to get the nice layout. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing for your repeats. You're going to put that in its own group. Let's see what happens if I just do this beginning repeat. Let's just see what happens. Beginning repeat. It might work in a repeat. Maybe let's say the repeat is W8 because that's the beginning header. And then text, we'll just leave all those just to see what happens. I like to push the limits. All right, so it sees the beginning repeat the same as it does a beginning group. So that's nice. And then you can go through here and do all of that. This is your nested repeat. Let's see what happens there. If I say W8. It doesn't do anything. It does not like the nested repeats. So since that's only an image, I'm okay. I don't know where I found this code, but somewhere on the interweb, there's a piece of code. So what we're looking at here, see if I can make this a little bigger for you. What we're looking at here is, this is the member. I love how I spelled that. Let's try again. All right. Must be unique. Oh, maybe members up at the top. Let's try member 2. Right here, we have a W2 multi-line. And what that is, multi-line is, where you have your text and it's all in one line and maybe you have 200 characters and your inspectors can't see all that extra space. So multi-line is going to make that about 3 lines deep. And for this repeat, we actually just want to delete that. Don't worry about that at all. We are going to put a W8:8. And that will go anytime you have a repeat and you need it to be separated. So I don't know where I found that code. So make sure you have this somewhere because it will change your life. And then hit save. And what that's going to do, the 8:8 is your 8 wide. I don't know what that extra 8 is. Doesn't make sense to me, but it seems to work. So that W8 is how wide it is. The extra 8, make up your own information on that one. I have no idea. But what that's going to do is that's going to put it on a different level. You can also, once you're in there, if you have a lot of different things, you can now do your regular, W2. Say save to make it too wide if you have a bunch of questions. Since there's nothing else in there, it's going to take up the whole space. Keep all that in mind. Like I said, I don't know where I found that code, but there it is. You can have it. Let's see if we can do this with dynamic. In the olden days, we couldn't change the settings and get it to flip. Let me see if I can fix that right now. Dynamic grid, see what happens. It may or may not do this. But I'd like to know. I know you want to know too. Let's see here. So if we did this, we want to go to relevant. We're going to use relevant. Relevant is out here. Way right there. Relevant is if you have a certain answer, something else is going to pop open. And that's a great thing to have because sometimes you don't need your inspectors to see everything. So if you have like a yes, no question, it's a trigger, and then you can do that. So you can see that I did that down here with the pets. Tell me about your pets, and that pops open. Let's see here. That pops open if they say yes. So do you have pets? Yes. See how that works out right there? And no. So that is the dynamic part. Let's go back and see if we can show you what that looks like fixed. All right. This is what happens when you have fixed. It's just going to give you that blank space. So yes, and it'll bring that up. And this one, no. Yes and no. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you this one. What we're going to do is we're going to go to, there is a, let's see here. Let's put something in here. Right here, I left a space for it. We're going to put a text. Actually, that's going to be a yes and no question because this is what we want the trigger to be. Select one and yes or no. Actually, I could just copy this one. Paste. And right here, we're going to say same name. And on this one, we're going to say is your last name the same as above? And that's for all of us stepchildren. Guess our names are not the same as our new dad. So right now, it's a yes and no question. So we can come out to relevant, put your $ curly bracket and this name. Copy, paste, curly bracket equals all of this information and capital YES, because remember in the beginning I said in your choices, always make your yes and no's capital because in some places it wants one or the other. So if you keep it like Esri puts it, where it's little lowercase no and uppercase yes or uppercase no, there's some confusion. So I knew that off the top of my head. I didn't have to figure out which one that was. So say save. All right. So now when we say, this is Ricardio, I already had it pre-populated down here, says last name. And oh, this one's wrong. Cut, paste, because we want this one to open up only if the same name is yes. Paste. Save. All right, so here you go. Is your last name the same as above? So here's Ricardio. I think I broke something. All right. I'm not going to worry about it. I got what I needed here. Here's the yes and no question. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now you can, put something else in there. You can also, ooh, that was ugly. So when I pushed the button, it made it a little uglier. So keep that in mind as you're going through things. Test out your stuff before you send it out. Because we could do a W2 there to make that prettier. All right. Well, I think we have covered grid themes. That was wonderful. Thank you. Some of you have asked how you could work with me. So I've come up with a few ways that we can work together. First off, if you are a Survey123 Padawan Academy student, I do have a 1 hour block of time for $60. This is done in the mornings between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I also have a VIP day, which can be between 4 and 8 hours. And those are usually for team setting, corporations, things like that, where you have proprietary data and you can't be in a group setting. I have Padawan Mastermind. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on one complete project. The way that this is going to flow is that I'm going to send you your introductory email. And in that email, it's going to have the Excel file for our homework. I'm going to give you a video that shows you exactly what to do. It's going to be easy. Then what I want to do is meet with you for 30-minute increments throughout the month. And what we're going to do is we're going to build on all of that. I'm going to talk you through where some of those hurdles are. And then we're going to start working through the feature report, because feature reports are sometimes persnickety. And if you've done images and you just can't figure out where those backslashes go, this is for you, because I understand why it's working the way it's working. And it doesn't show you when you export that template quite the way that it wants you to use it. So going forward, you're going to get all of that information for a complete project. We might get into dashboards or web app builder or experience builder. I hope you join us, because this is going to be worth so much more than just the cost of getting in the door.